Hello YouTube, this is Michael B. the Game Genie, and this is another episode of Game Pickups from the New Adventure Island. Alright guys, so a lot of these pickups go back as far as late November, early December for those of you who follow me on Facebook, which you should totally do, by the way. So I just want to give you an update on everything I got. And before anybody goes away and says, oh, here we go, more brand new games. Hey, guys, all retro this time. So guys, I want to start off by talking about a guy by the name of Adam here in Newfoundland. He's a video game seller. He used to run a store called Gamers Haven. Unfortunately never worked out, but he's still selling video games to people here in Newfoundland. He is the #1 go-to source for picking up any rare and expensive titles here in Newfoundland. If you're looking for something, you got to get in contact with Adam at Gamers Haven. Anyways, he picked up a lot of games recently, and he had 2 R-Type 3s complete in box. Anyways, he contacted me, he told me that he had all these games, he picked them up at a good price, and I should come over and see if there's anything I want. I wanted R-Type 3, but man, I can't afford that right now. Anyways, he did have a couple games there I was really excited about that he gave to me at a very good price. I'm so excited about this first game, and that is Super Empire Strikes Back, complete in box. I never had any of the Super Star Wars series on the SNES growing up. I rented them all the time, I just found them extremely hard, too hard to actually buy myself. So this is the first time I've actually come across a copy. I'm sure most of you have already seen the Game Chaser's great new That's the Way Gameplay and Go video on the Star Wars series. Billy goes into great detail of his experience with Super Empire Strikes Back. It looks like it's a fantastic game, and I'm so excited to start playing it, and punishing myself because the game's so hard. Next up, I picked up some great Genesis titles. I picked up Joe and Mac, which is a really fun game on the NES. I've heard the Super NES version is actually the best version of this, but my friend Mr. Dude 206 picked up a copy of this recently as well, so I'm excited to check it out. Alien Storm. I don't know a whole lot about Alien Storm, but I'm hoping it has something to do with Alien Syndrome. I haven't had a chance to play this yet, but it looks really cool. And I love getting Genesis games, especially when they're in their original case like this. The old Genesis, you know, with the lines and everything like that, that's my favorite era of Genesis games right there. So, Alien Storm. Come with me if you want to live. I picked up the Terminator on Genesis. Now, I know the NES version of the Terminator is not so good, but I'm hoping this is actually something like the Game Gear version of the Terminator. I actually owned the Game Gear version of Terminator growing up. I thought it was a great game, just extremely hard. Looking at the back of this looks very similar to the Game Gear version, so I'm excited to finally try this out. And again, classic Genesis game. Excited to have it. And the last game I picked up from Gamers Haven, I'm extremely excited about because I didn't even know it existed, and that is Soldice on the Sega Genesis. Now, most of you are saying, what is Soldice? Soldice is a side-scrolling shooter. It looks incredible. The reason why I'm so excited is because I own a game called Soul Feast for the Sega CD, and I love Soul Feast. I think it's an amazing shooter, and it's got great music. It really reminds me of like a TurboGrafx CD side-scrolling shooter. It's the same kind of quality. So anyways, I'm excited to try Soldice. I don't know if it's directly related, but I think it is. I mean, the way that the Soldice is spelled out is the exact same as Soul Feast anyways, so... Anyways, I'm excited to try this out. Looks like this is going to be a great shooter. I think I put it up on Facebook, and Mike Gartner might have mentioned that this is actually a pretty good game, so... I don't know if you watch my videos, Mike, all the time, but if you do, you know, tell me if I'm right or wrong. Before I go any further with the game pickups, I want to show you guys something really cool that my brother got me for Christmas. It's really hard to shop for me, obviously. I mean, I'm constantly going out picking up old retro games. Even with new games, if there's something I want, I usually just go and pick it up, so people have a hard time finding something for me. So my brother was calling me before Christmas, and he was like, you know, do you want like an Xbox Live card? And I was like, ah, I don't want that. Virtual Console card for the Wii, and I was like, nah, I'm not interested. PSN card, no, that's not for me. I don't do a lot of digital downloading. So he was really at a loss as to what to get me, but some of my biggest loves in life are cartoons and video games, and he stumbled across these when he was in Walmart, and he picked them up for me. I'm extremely excited to have them, and that is the Super Mario Bros. Super Show.
Hey, paisanos, it's the Super Mario Bros. Super Show!
I already have the Legend of Zelda series from the Super Mario Bros. Super Show on DVD, so now I have both volumes of the Super Mario Bros. Super Show as well. Very excited about this. It has probably one of the funniest intro videos ever, and I don't know if there's any old wrestling fans out there like me, but actually, if you didn't know, there's an old wrestling manager by the name of Captain Lou Albano, who actually played, and I gotta try to say this right because everybody corrects me about it, Mario. Did I say it right that time? So anyways, Captain Lou Albano plays as Mario.
You're in for a treat, so hang on to your seat. Get ready for adventure and remarkable feats. You'll meet Koopas and Troopers, the princess and the others. Hanging with the plumbers, you'll be hooked on the brothers to the brink.
Mario. So guys, let me set the stage for you. Every Saturday, I wake up and I go out and I hit all the thrift stores. I hit the pawn shops. I hit the gaming stores. And I usually don't find a whole lot. Again, I'm here in Newfoundland. We're a small island, the Adventure Island, off the coast of Canada. There's only roughly around 500,000 people here in the entire province. So that means circulation of all this stuff isn't really super big. So that means right now, especially with the way that retro game collectings go, demand certainly outweighs supplies. Knew that business degree would come in at some point. So it's November 30th. I wake up that morning, I go out, I hit the thrift stores. There's nothing there. Go to the pawn shop. There's nothing there. Then I go to the 2 gaming stores I regularly frequent. And I never buy anything at one of them, for sure. The other one, maybe I'll find some stuff. That's usually where I go to get my NES games. But man oh man, they actually had some great stuff there that day, so let me show you what I got. The first game is actually an upgrade over a game I already had. I've had this game ever since I was a teenager, and that is Star Ocean: The Second Story. Now, I got this from Blockbuster Video back when I was around 16, 17, and it didn't come in its case. It basically just came in a generic case. So, of course, I took it home. I put it in one of those single CD cases, so I had both CDs stuck in there. Then I printed off a label off the internet somewhere, and this was before the cover project was even available, so I don't know where I got it. And it always bothered me that I didn't have the game in its original case. So, I eyed it at this store I go to all the time called Netherworld, which is a collectible store, and they sell games out of there too. So I've been hemming and hawing about it for weeks upon weeks, and I finally said to myself, Mike, you're never going to find the game again at that good a price. You've always wanted to get a reasonable copy of it, so go ahead and do it. So now I have a complete in-case copy of Star Ocean: The Second Story. Love this game. I played it for about 100 hours, and I never finished it because, I don't know, I'm dumb with RPGs sometimes. So what happened was there's a certain point in the game where you have to do one of these action commands. Like if you come to a place, you have to hit select to basically trigger an action sequence. And I never hit select and triggered the action sequence, so I actually miss one of the playable characters, and it's a fighter. So basically, I'm at one of the last fights right now, but basically my party's unbalanced because I don't have enough actual physical fighters. I only have magic users. And also, I didn't build up my magic because I didn't really understand how it worked. So basically, that 100 hours is wasted. I'm never going to go back and play it. I'm just going to start playing the game again, and hopefully, this time, I'll get a better understanding of what I'm supposed to do. Well, I've had, you know, like 15 years to think about it, so I'm sure I'll be able to do it this time. Anyways, very excited to have a copy of Star Ocean, and I'm probably going to be doing some kind of trade video in the next little while because funds are tight, and I really need to, you know, get rid of some of the doubles I have and get some new stuff in here. Then at the very same store, I found a Genesis game that I've been looking for a long time. Now, I've played this Genesis game quite a few times on my Sonic's Ultimate Genesis collection on the PS3, and it's not super great, but I really wanted it because I'm collecting all the games in the series, and that is Alex Kidd and the Enchanted Castle. I don't like it so far, but I really haven't given it an honest try. So, anyways, I've been playing it a little bit. It's definitely no Alex Kidd in Miracle World, but hey, you know, I like all the Alex Kidd games, even the bad ones. It's just something about them draws me in. I picked up one other thing there, but I'm going to save that for last, because that's really the most special thing in this whole pickup video that I'm excited to show you. So then I went over to our local games exchange, which used to be a microplay for those of us in Canada that still have microplays. I don't know what happened. I don't know if they lost the license and they just decided to change the name. But anyways, they're no longer microplay. They're now games exchange. It's the same store with the same stuff, but it just has a different name. So over there, I mean, their prices are extremely high. They're usually right on eBay, if not a little bit more. And I've got myself in trouble a couple times. I'll walk in and I'll question the prices. But I went in this day and I found something I didn't need. I certainly didn't need, but I was pretty excited about, so I decided to pick it up. And I also found a Boxed N64 game, which I don't really collect for the N64, really. I'm getting more and more into it as I go along, because I'm going back and realizing I missed some great N64 games, but not going for a complete collection or anything like that. If there's a game I'm interested in that I want to play, I'll pick it up. So the N64 game is actually one that I have on my Virtual Console for my Wii as well, and I decided I needed to get a regular copy of it. I came across this game for the first time when looking through the Virtual Console games that were available, checking out the N64 ones. I saw this and I decided it's kind of funny because this is around the same time that I really got hooked on YouTube. I wanted to see if there was a review on it. And at the time, I went online and I was looking through Castlevania 2 reviews as well. I came across Goemon47, or as we know, Eric from Let's Get. Anyways, I watched his review on Castlevania 2 that convinced me. I picked it up on the Virtual Console and really started to get interested in Castlevania 2 when I wasn't as a kid, because I constantly got lost in it. But then he also did a review of this game, and I said, you know what, that actually doesn't look like a bad game. So I picked up a box copy of Yoshi's Story on the N64. I really like to try to get my N64 games boxed because I kept every single boxed N64 game I had as a kid. So I think I got about 30 boxed N64 games, and it's harder to find. Like, usually I can get an N64 game for around $2.99. They show up still pretty regularly at the Salvation Army, but coming across box ones, a place like Games Exchange is really the only time you'll find one. So I think I paid like 30 bucks for this. You know what? I probably paid too much, but I was excited to see it. So anyways, I picked up a copy of Yoshi's Story, and that'll go great with the next item I picked up. A boxed N64, I guess the color is Ice Blue. So anyways, I currently already have two boxed N64s here, and there's kind of a story behind that because I got one Christmas morning, the first year it was released, and I kept my box, I kept everything. But a little later on down the line, I also bought my brother one because he picked up this Star Wars pod racer game, and he was constantly in my room playing it, and I didn't want him in my room for a couple of reasons. One, he refuses to wear a t-shirt. Number two, I thought the game looked stupid, and I was very mad at Star Wars Episode 1 at the time too for the pod racing. Man, I hated that pod racing and foolishness. I know 64-bit Matthew likes the pod racing, but it wasn't something I was interested in. So his birthday was coming up, and I said, I can kill two birds with one stone now. I'll buy Matthew an N64, my brother Matthew, not 64-bit Matthew. That way, he can take his shirtless body back into his own room. So I did. So I already have two complete in-box N64s. I don't really need another one, but you never see these here. Like the actual Atomic Blue, Jungle Green, all that stuff. Ice Blue, I think this one's called. Sorry, I keep calling it Atomic Blue. So anyways, I came across it. It was at Games Exchange, and I figured for sure they're going to want like 150 bucks for this, $200. But actually, it was a reasonable price, and the guy there, you know, I haggled with him a little bit, and he gave it to me for around 60 bucks. I know you're thinking, wow, you're crazy. I am crazy. So anyways, $60, I get a complete in-box N64 Ice Blue. At the same time, I'm going to tell you, this is the last complete in-box N64 I'm buying, unless I plan on reselling, which I never do. But I now have three, and anyways, this one's really cool. I've never had one like this before. So anyways, guys, the last thing I picked up was actually something I had saw earlier in the day. I was at Netherworld, and I was picking up my copy of Alex Kidd and the Enchanted Castle, and I was also picking up my copy of Star Ocean. I'm going through the NES games to make sure that they don't have anything that I need for my collection, and there, right in the back of the NES games, is a Genesis game, and I'm just blown away. I'm like, I can't believe I'm actually seeing this. I asked him a price, he told me $50, and I said, wow, you know, it's a little steep, I don't really want to pay that much today. So I decided to just leave it there. Then I went over to Games Exchange, and I found the copy of Yoshi's Story. I found the Ice Blue N64. But it was still on my mind. I was like, you know, I think I really want that game, but I don't know how much it's worth. And at the time I was using a BlackBerry, and when you go on eBay.ca on the BlackBerry, for some reason, the mobile site doesn't give you a true listing, and a lot of times you can't even find the item you're looking for. So I had no way of finding out what the value was while I was out on the go. So I decided to message EdT1138 because Ed is just an amazing resource of knowledge when it comes to the value of games. And anyways, I never heard back from him right away. Ed's a really busy guy. I completely understand, right?
Right.
So I decided I was just going to go home. I went home, I sat down for about a half hour, 45 minutes, and just thought to myself, you never see anything like that in the wild here in Newfoundland. I'm being completely foolish. I'm just going to go back and buy it. And I actually picked up a copy of Action 52 on the Genesis for $50. I don't know if that's a great price. I've seen it go on eBay.ca for less. I've seen it go for more, so I guess it's somewhere in the middle, but I'm extremely excited to have it. Update on that story too. Ed did write me back a little bit later and apologize for not getting back to me right away. And Ed, if I haven't told you already, no worries, man. You did me a huge favor and you took the time to do it. That's enough for me. Don't worry about it at all. Anyways, Action 52 on the Genesis. I'm extremely excited to have this. I never ever thought I would have a copy of Action 52. I know the NES one's more expensive and more valuable, but I don't really care. Just the fact that I have a copy of this and I found it in Newfoundland. Newfoundland.
Right.
So anyways, guys, Action 52 on the Genesis. Something I'm extremely excited to have. I can't believe I found a copy loose here in Newfoundland. You never see anything like this, so I paid a steep price, but I think it was worth it. Anyways, guys, I know this stuff is really old, but I'm really sorry about that. I haven't showed this sooner, but I just haven't had time. I haven't had time to make videos. I don't have time to look for games. I don't even have time to answer my mail.
You're hit. You're bleeding, man. I ain't got time to bleed.
But I'm glad I finally got the time to make this video and show you all the cool stuff I picked up. I got a bunch of other stuff. I don't know if it'll be as cool as this, but definitely another pickup video coming within the next couple of weeks. I hope you enjoyed. This is Michael B. the Game Genie, and I'll talk to you next time. I don't know if you guys can see that, but look down there in the corner. That's actually a NES controller on a Genesis game. Man, they didn't even take the time to make a new label.